Yes. All
What up?
right.
What up? What
Sorry
up? What
about
up?
that. How are y'all doing?
Hey, doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. I want to first say that I am super stoked to be talking to you guys today because I want to tell you guys that I was walking around, right, trailing out there around Spirit Lake. I heard you guys playing and I was like, oh, it's going to be good. Let's go. Went in there and it was super explosive and so great, and the energy was perfect, guys, and I really appreciate it. And
Oh,
I know that's exactly what you went there to do. I felt that,
that's it.
Yeah, that's
you
what we
know so can I ask you some questions?
Yeah, of course.
Sweet. All right, so how did you guys get started? Let's go back to like the beginning. So who's the first introduce yourselves?
I'm Dia.
I'm Saint.
Yep, that's Saint.
Oh, so that's where the name comes from. Do you know
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together at all? Like I was like DEA Saints. I was like they're like saints, but like they're in the D. Like what is that? Like I had no idea. So yeah, I really had no idea. I'm going into this thing blind. All I know is from what I heard and when I saw you guys. So
No doubt.
your name's D and your name is Saint.
Yeah, Dia.
D. Yeah. Wait, and that's your first names?
Well, that's like our chosen name. That's my chosen name.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. All right. Nice. All right. So that's how you guys come together. So you guys are the two starting members that wrote all the music, right?
Mhm. And then we have
Okay.
different iterations of our band for different performances.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then you went all out on this one, right?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
the violin and everything. Like I was like, how are they even moving this full production all the time? Like this is so badass. I'm like, it's really amazing, like the full production. So normally, would it be so you do the whole band at some events and then you do some more like smaller personal ones in a different way, right? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
like kind of at the root of it all, we're both MCs, so that's kind of how we got our start. Was we were in a rap crew together, and we met just doing freestyle ciphers and stuff like that. So that's the root of it, and those were both of our MC names. But when we collided and really got to like the root of our music interests, we were like, well, it's not just in hip hop. We grew up listening to everything, so we started journeying into more experimental genres, infusing it into punk, some hardcore.
Yeah.
Punk. So you get this homogenous mixture of all kinds of different sounds now, with different iterations of the band.
Yeah, that's a great concept. Because at first, when I ran into it, I was like, "Oh, it's got like this heavy metal element." And I used to like rock back in the day with I used to go with my buddy. He was in a band called Silly Beans, and it was like super heavy metal. And I used to go over there, and I got super comfortable with that whole scene. But I'm like a hip hop kid myself. So okay, so that's really what was like an awesome thing to see. It was like it had this like heavy element to it that was just hard and raw. And then you threw the hip hop into it, and it was super lyrical. And then the fact that both of y'all were super dope was really awesome. And no offense, because like sometimes girls, like I'm like, I don't know, if girls are that, like some girls are like, but then you killed it too, super fucking nasty on that shit, which was really amazing to collide that together. So did you guys? What is your process of making music?
Well, it varies. We basically hear lyrics inside of production. So we listen to beats and then the words like come to us. So we collaborate closely with a lot of different beat makers locally and in the United States and stuff. Just if we're vibing with a beat, then we'll collaborate with them and then add live instrumentation.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you two work it out and then it becomes this whole other thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we like organize it. It's like,
yeah, that's awesome.
You know how it is. It's like when you work with artists, it's like some people are good at that stuff. Some people, they're just born to play the bass. Like that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah,
so
of course.
To like find the people that are in their pockets that maybe need a little help with the organization as well. And then we like spearhead it.
That's super awesome. That's great. That's great. Oh man. So I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but back to how you guys met. So you're hitting up ciphers, you're colliding together, right? you guys are probably like, you're dope, right? I'm guessing and assuming, right?
Very much.
And started putting tracks together. So what was the very first track that you guys put together, or was it an entire album? What was the first collective piece that you put out?
We did a single called Dat Funk. Just super hip hop. Our homie Doug Lito had produced it. And after that, it was really just a springboard. So we jumped into one EP, I believe it was 5 or 6 songs that we dropped on the summer equinox.
The vernal equinox.
Vernal equinox. No, that wasn't vernal. That was the autumnal equinox.
Autumnal equinox. Excuse me. That's right.
And then we followed up on the vernal equinox as well with about a 14-track album.
And those are both just very like pop centric. And then we did, how many tracks are on Trap Doom? 18, 14?
Yeah, like 15.
I don't know. And then we did a whole album with our band called Trap Doom, which is really fun. I can't remember. I can't remember how many songs are on it. I feel like
it was quite a few. But that was our first band album. You know, the 2 mixtapes prior were just rocking with producers, very much hip hop. But you'll notice if you go back to them on Bandcamp, there's a lot of experimental play that we're having that kind of brings us into the Trap Doom record. That's very doom metal heavy, but we fused it with trap beats. So you get this really interesting contrast between the metal and the trap. And then it's also a concept album. Just diving into the traps and pitfalls of life. You know, we've all felt doomed in certain circumstances, like there's no way out. So, you mentioned that our delivery is lyrical, but we also like to infuse that with our passion and with our messages, right? Is like, there's always hope. And a lot of times it's just applying yourself. Adopted a lot of that ideology from hardcore. It's just, the PMA, the positive mental attitude. You can do a lot with that. So we've been cooking.
Yeah, I can see that. It's really great. It's really good. And then so how did you guys like when you first put out the music, were you guys already playing it first, or did you put out the album and then start playing it out?
We were definitely already playing it. Yeah, we were already playing it.
Yeah,
you look really like, we were playing those.
I mean, same thing now. Like we're getting ready to release an EP called Joy and War, the Jaw EP. And we've already like played a bunch of those songs live, but like I like that. Like personally, I like seeing a band play something live and then hear how they recorded it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's fun to like tease new music that way in a live setting. It makes people be more present.
Yeah, I think so too. And then when you guys record, what's your process in recording in the studio?
It depends on the nature of the collaboration. So, generally we like to have most of the production laid out. So if that means that we're rocking with the bands, definitely we have the percussion and the rhythm in place. Some of the melody might trail in later, but as much of the meat there as possible. That way we can commit to that emotionally with our delivery. And then, we sit with the producers and with the instrumentalists and make sure that it's a complete composition once it's time, once we get the lyrics in.
Trying to mirror the live energy with the recorded energy can be hard.
That's the
because like live, like you said, it's explosive. It's like, how do you capture that?
In a very not that the studio is like a sterile environment, but like there's
it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same as having people there rocking.
It's like a reciprocity of energy when you do it live.
Yeah, and you can't really bounce around as much as you might want to, to move around when you're doing.
Unplug the headphones on accident.
hit the mic or something. It's like the word. So where were both of y'all born?
I was born in Arizona,
Georgia, and then were you guys into music? What got you guys into writing originally? You two individually.
For me, it was punk. When I was like 13, 14, I started going to like shows, punk rock shows, and that's like where I found my community, because I had like a not nice home life. So I like go hang out with all my punk kids, all my punk friends.
Which are always the funniest people ever.
And they had similar stories and I felt less alone. And then that's like kind of like what activated me to be like more political in my lyrics, like listening to Anti-Flag and Pennywise and being like, I'm going to write songs like that. So I tried to be in like punk bands and stuff in high school, but it didn't really come to fruition until like my 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I grew up in a household. My mother, she's a classically trained pianist, so I was exposed to a lot of classical music, but a lot of music across the gamut. And in terms of writing, I really, really dug into creative writing in school, narrative stuff. So as I'm listening to a lot of the forefathers of hip hop, I'm noticing that they're bringing about narratives in their writing too. So originally, that's what got me inspired into writing lyrics was storytelling, and kind of delivering it in that sort of way, and taking my notepad to school, that kind of stuff. But yeah, just listening to everything inspired me later on, bridging out of high school and into my young adult years, into stretching my vocal capabilities, and can I scream, can I sing, those kinds of things. And yeah, just working diligently at it, and it's been a ride. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the message that you want people to get out of what y'all create?
That's a really good question. For me, I just want people to leave feeling empowered in the wholeness of their emotional spectrum. Like a lot of times people do not like embrace anger or darkness or things that are considered like quote unquote low vibrations or rage or things like that. And for me, I want people to tap into that because I feel like it's a healthy way to release things inside of your being. So there's, you can have rage and find a safe space for that and emote that, and it's going to translate into having better mental health as a whole. So that's what I'm trying to channel in people is embracing like the full spectrum, and like it's okay to be ugly, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be happy, it's okay to have joy, it's okay to have all those things, because the full expression of ourselves is what is radical. That's what I think.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that. It's almost like if you just bottle it up and hold it on inside, then it just like
It's gonna go
it's
somewhere.
trapped inside.
It's
So
gonna
like
go
if you like
somewhere.
yell, it's a good way to get it out of your system, and then afterwards you're like, all right, life's not that bad.
Exactly.
That's
We got
contagious.
this.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
got
it
this.
feels so good.
That's good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm a dog training instructor. That's actually what I do for a living. I also make music, but like what dogs do when they overcome like a challenge, like especially like fear cases or like when they're nervous or something, after they overcome it, they'll shake it off afterwards. And
Mm.
it's like when you're describing that, like that's what I was picturing in my head. It's like, man, like we're like sometimes it's so like predictable. Like sometimes I'll overcome the situation with the dog, and I'll be like, the dog's gonna shake off now. The dog will be like, within like 30 seconds, it'll shake off, and it's like tail will flutter out, and then it's like over it. And then I started comparing, like watching humans and what they do, and I noticed that like humans, right, like after you overcome something big, you'll go, and that to me
Right.
was like equivalent to the shake off,
Yeah.
and then I just saw like a horse do it on TV one time. Like his horse was nervous about something. This guy went to go pet him, and then after he petted him, afterwards the horse shook off, and I was like, a fucking horse did it,
Yeah.
So that's really cool that you understand that, and you're fighting, and it's probably a great place for y'all to kind of do that for yourselves, right?
Yes.
Because like as an MC to an MCs, like that's I feel like I get that out, and I'm like, oh, all right, I feel good, let's go,
Yeah.
and you can keep moving on.